How I started, I mean, I guess we'll go from uni because for me it started at uni where I really found out what I wanted to do. So I went to Manchester Metropolitan University and I studied sport management. But actually, I did a gap year degree, so I just didn't do the 3 years straight away. I did 2 years, then I took a gap year, and then I did my final year. And the gap year was at ESPN. I was lucky enough to do 1 year at ESPN working in the marketing division. And I did quite a bit on social media, as well as other functions. I did digital marketing, I did a bit of journalism, but social media was the one for me that really stood out. So, that's where I realized that I had the passion for social media and kind of like online marketing and that kind of stuff. So, I went from there and then, was able to move further along in my career. But I would say, the key thing for me to get in that position was what I did in university. So backtracking a little bit, I remember the first thing that my senior lecturer said to us all when we had our first kind of lesson in year one. He said, throughout these 3 years, you need to make sure that you get as much work experience as possible. Now, the question is, how do you get work experience when you're only just entering to uni? Like, it's impossible. You read job descriptions nowadays, and it's like, you need 5 Olympic medals, you need 25 years of work experience, and also you need to be a WWE champion, to get this job. It's a bit ridiculous, right? But what a lot of people don't understand is that there's areas out there to get experience. And I did mine for a lot of volunteering. I went and I approached many different organizations in sport because Manchester is a city for sport. It's really on the map as being one of the main cities for sport. You've got the 2 big football clubs there. And then you got things like the Aquatic Centre, which is the National Aquatic Centre in England. So there's a many different areas to get involved in sports. So that's what I did, and I was able to put that on my CV to then put me in a position to get the ESPN internship and then further along. But that's how it mainly started, and then just moved forward. Kept networking. Kept keeping in contact with key people that helped me on the journey to be in this position at the moment. It's an interesting question because at the same time, it's not like I was studying while doing the internship. I was able to take a total break from studying to then do the internship, if you know what I mean. So it wasn't necessarily too difficult in balancing because I only had to work on the job that I was doing at that moment in time. But what is important, it's important to understand and use the skills that you did learn from your 2 years of study to then go into the job. A lot of what you study is not practical, okay? It's a lot of book reading, it's a lot of literature and all of that. So it's kind of difficult to put it into practice. But if you remember key things that you learn, key theories, then it can help you along the journey. Of course, when you actually get the work experience and you get there and you understand real life is different from what you're learning. But those 2 years does put you in a good position to then focus on what you need to do in the job. And then after that, it's vice versa, because once you do that internship for a year and then you go to complete your final year, and everybody knows that your final year is the most important year. That's when you do the dissertation or the exams, and it leads to the majority of the end of the final result that you're going to get. So having that experience, practical experience, inner work experience, does make that final year a lot easier. So it's not too much about balancing. I wouldn't say you balance the both. You kind of balance what you're doing at that time, So if you're in work, you balance the necessary tasks that you have to do within the work, as you do at university as well. If you have multiple assignments, you make sure you balance the assignments. Obviously, you're going to focus on the one that is due most recent. You're going to focus on that one first, and then the others that are due later on, you're going to focus on those a bit later, or in order of importance. So that's how I would say you balance it effectively. One of the reasons I said I enjoyed doing the social media at ESPN is because even now I'm like, I use social media religiously now. So being able to use work in social media as a career it was cool to me. It seemed like something that was cool, that was exciting, because I used it every day in my own life. So I knew how these platforms worked. I knew how Facebook worked. I knew how Instagram worked. I knew how all of those worked, because I use it naturally. So for me, and to do it in sports, it was just like, this is cool. So for me, there was no difference. If you were speaking to someone that didn't really use social media and then had to go into social media, I think for them, it would be a bit of a struggle. But for me, I was able to just go in there like that. And, there wasn't really any kind of difference per se. I think one of the key things of getting it as a career, because it's becoming quite popular now and many people want to be involved in this digital marketing side, you have to show what sets you apart, right? So I'm talking about things like, how are you going to use social media in your personal life that you can bring it in front of an interview and saying, hey, I've done this, this, and this, and this is why I should get the job. Because right now, like, education or even work experience might not be enough. You need to show a little bit of initiative, a little bit of proactivity. So, a couple of things that I do on the side, I'm into like healthy eating and vegan vegetarianism. So a lot of things that I do just as something for me to continue learning is that I've got my own little Instagram page of like vegan vegetarianism. I've got my own little website that I manage myself, just outside of my work, because with social media, you never stop learning, because things change all the time and things adapt and develop all the time in social media. We've just seen, obviously TikTok was a big thing, and then obviously Instagram a few weeks ago launched this Instagram Reels, which is kind of a competitor to TikTok. So these types of things change all the time. So when you're able to do your own thing, right, and put in front of an employer and say, hey, by the way, also, I manage my own social media platform and website, that I do for my own self. And these are the results I get. This is why I do it, and show them the passion. I think that's how you can turn it from something that you do in your day-to-day life, if you use it religiously, like as you said, a lot of you guys do. That's how you turn it from that into, a tangible job that you can make money from. One of the biggest obstacles I faced was moving into a whole new environment, a whole new culture, a whole new country, because I'd spent most of my time, not all, but most of my time in English speaking Western, cultures, and working in them. And then when I got the opportunity to move over to Italy, to Torino, and work for Juventus, it was a really exciting opportunity, but it was a really difficult one as well. I remember my first 3 months, I hated the place. I didn't like being there. Like, I was lonely. I was like upset. I was like, why did I make this decision? But over time, as you start to be comfortable with the situation, and you start to, learn the culture, understand the culture, learn the language, understand the language, learn just the way people work and understand the way people work. And most importantly, like, more so than the language and the culture, the most important thing is learn how to communicate with people. Because I say all of these things, but communication with people, doesn't matter about the language, is so vitally important, because you will understand that, and this is for all of you students, when you go into the workplace, it's not understanding how different people work, from Kareem to Thomas, right? Everybody you work with will have a different way of communication and working, and to be able to understand how to effectively communicate with each individual, having a different approach to each individual, will get you so far. I'm telling you now, like, I tell you now, will get you very, very far. So being able to, and the only reason I was able to learn how to communicate with different people is because I was forced into a situation where I had to talk to different people. Speaking to traditional Italians is a lot different from speaking to traditional Mancunians. It's very different. And I'm not just talking about the language, I'm just talking about the way people think. So I think that was one of the biggest challenges for me. And over time, I was able to learn the Italian, speak Italian, learn the culture, understand the culture, and things got a lot easier. In fact, I'm in Italy right now at the moment as I speak to you guys. So I'm currently working from home, but I've chosen to continue staying here because I can. So you start to fall in love with the country and fall in love with others. That's why I've stayed here at the moment. So something at the beginning that might sound difficult, after a while, and you begin to accept things and learn things, might become a love, might become a passion for you, you know? I would say don't shy away, just get stuck in. Just go in there and get stuck in, like get out of your comfort zone. Because a lot of the time you're just gonna want to stay in the situation that you are, stay in the position that you are, and not like expand yourself and you just want to stay comfortable with who you are. But I think one of the key things is going outside of your comfort zone and being able to express yourself outside of your comfort zone, because each one of you students this year now will have your own key personality trait and your own thing that's you, that sets you apart from different people. And the thing is that people appreciate this, you know, people appreciate diversity and, you know, being just different in general. So I think that, you know, just going out there, getting out your comfort zone, offer yourself to do anything, to do whatever it is, you know. And the thing about getting out your comfort zone is that eventually it turns into a comfort. So if you're able to do it many, many times, it will eventually turn into something that you like, and it might turn into something that you don't like. And if it starts turning into something that you don't like, or it seems like a chore for you, then you can stop. Because the good thing is that you've experienced it and you've understood and you've learned something that you know, you can say in your future, I remember I don't like doing this, so I'm not going to go down that route again. But also it can show you something that you do like doing, and you can learn something new about yourself, and then you can continue, and it might open up new doors for you. So that's the thing. I'd say from the beginning, just leave your comfort zone and just get stuck in. Right now, unfortunately, it's not enough to just have a degree, and unfortunately, it's getting to the stage where it's not enough just to have experience. You need to be able to show a little bit of proactivity and a little bit of, you know, I'd say like gusto about you. So basically, having something yourself and saying that this is my project, I created this. These are the results. Here it is. And I think if you're able to show that and show people that you've taken it on yourself to do something good, right, then this is where you start to, you know, be able to put yourself in a good position. And if you're about social media, like the example I gave you guys before, but even my own project, you know, I'm doing my own thing even to this day now, you know, because you can never stop learning. So I know I'm repeating myself a little bit, but I think this is the most important and key thing that all of you guys listening have to take on board. You know, like keep your study hard. Obviously, when you go to university, go work hard. You know, try to get your first class degrees. Try to get work experience through volunteering. Try to do all of that, but also at the same time, do your own thing as well. Because what you need to realize as well is that doing your own thing is work experience. What people don't understand is that when you're working, it doesn't matter if you're working for yourself or like you're still working and you're gaining experience from doing your thing, you know. So I will go through and put that on my CV. I will put that, you know, Nat Black Heavens created this website called Nutrition Green. I talk about vegetarian and vegan recipes, whatever. I got this Instagram page. These are my results. These are how many likes I get. These are how many views I get. I will put that on my CV. I will say that I did that, and that is my work experience. So I think being able to show that you've been proactive in work experience is very important. When you work in the football industry, it's had quite a big effect because, as you rightly said, you need to be able to find a way to serve the football fans. So I remember when the coronavirus like kind of just hit at the moment and all the games were cancelled. And you have to remember that as a football team, your biggest product are the football games. That's your product. That's what you sell to people, right? That's why people they come to you to watch your games, right? That is your product. So when you cannot deliver that product, then you're a failing business at the end of the day, right? Now, the good thing about the coronavirus in that sense is that everyone was a failing business at that time. You know, it wasn't just you. Like, so you had to then think of ways to give the product in a new sense, in a new way, which meant that everyone was coming to social media to kind of serve that product. So I remember having to, you know, every day sit down in meetings with the team about, okay, what cool creative idea can we come up now to serve the audience that are missing out on their favorite product, that are missing out on watching Cristiano Ronaldo play football, you know, that are missing out on watching the team play. So it was a very intense period where it was just creativity meetings after creativity meetings after creativity meetings. But you know, it was a good period, because at the same time, everything you learned from that period, you can take it and still deliver now and deliver next year and a year after that, because you were forced into a situation where you had to do this. And, you know, and I'm sure many businesses, you know, not just social media, not just sports, many businesses are taking learnings from what they learned now and things that they can move on into the future, because they were put into a situation where they had to do it. And, you know, there could be things where what didn't work so well, which they will scrap, but there'll be things that they learn about themselves. They're like, this was awesome, this was really good, and we're going to move forward and continue doing this. So, you know, obviously we saw an increase in results because everybody was sitting online, you know, social media use was on the rise, obviously. So results were on the rise. So, but yeah, no, that's a very interesting question, but I hope I was able to answer it. Always having a plan, and it sounds something trivial of have a plan, whatever. But I think it's very important to do that plan. And don't get me wrong, your plans will change, like always, your plans will always change. But if you always have something in your mind that I'm working towards this today, whether it's like a daily plan, whether you wake up and say, okay, this is what I need to get done today, because I work on a daily plan, I work on a monthly, weekly, daily plan. It's not bad to have a daily plan, you know. But I think that is something that everybody should do. You know, it can be like 5 years from now, this is where I want to be 5 years from now, and it can be extravagant. I want to have a Ferrari, I want to live in Los Angeles by the beach, whatever. Okay, but if you have that plan, guess what, you're going to work towards it. You know, it's your plan, so why not work towards it? And then if you can break that down into, as I said, like monthly, weekly, daily, then you can start to build that plan into a reality. And I think that's how I think everybody can stay motivated. And I know it sounds a little bit blah, 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 you know, why don't you just go watch a YouTube motivational video, whatever. But in fact, the reason why these YouTube motivational videos exist is because they're true. You know, they wouldn't be there on, you know. So I understand speaking to you guys how it sounds. I understand how it sounds. But at the end of the day, it's true. You know, you wake up in the morning and you say, this is what I'm going to do to achieve that goal 5 years down. You know, it can be something so simple and small as that I'm going to make sure I eat a healthy meal for lunch today because I ate pasta and chips yesterday, you know. But eating that healthy meal is going to put you in the right mind frame to do other good things for the rest of the day. Do you understand what I mean? So, you know, again, I know how it sounds, but it's absolutely true. Very difficult to be able to switch off. I just tell you that from fact, and because you're speaking to someone that's done it since basically I graduated from university. And so, you know, if you do truly love social media, then as I'm sure like a lot of you guys do, I'm sure you guys do, you're 16 above, of course you love social media, then you need to be able to understand that it's a game that you can't switch off on, because it changes, because it's so reactive, you know. It's very difficult. So for me, you know, I've recently, I had to invest in this. So this right here is a smartwatch. I don't know if you guys can see it. So recently I've had to invest in it because I was finding that even on weekends, because what I currently do involves having to be on weekends, even on weekends, I just have my phone in my pocket. I'd be off doing some stuff and I check my phone like an hour later and many messages come in where people urgently needed me, and I'd missed it. And in social media, it's hard, like you can't really miss things. And so I've just got this smartwatch. It gives me notifications. I'm kind of dreading getting it now because every time my watch buzzes and I'm like, oh my gosh, like stop it. Like, but it's really hard to switch off. So, you know, what I would say is use the downtime, like, you know, properly. When you do get downtime, use it properly. Don't use downtime to kind of scroll through Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Like, use your downtime properly. Like, use it to watch a Netflix movie if you do. I'm not trying to say go and read an intellectual book or whatever. No, because I don't do that. Like, you know, but like I'll jump on Netflix, watch a Netflix series or something, you know, or go I don't know, whatever your thing is that you do, just use that downtime effectively, but use it to not be on social, okay? Like tell the people, okay, I'm gonna go off for like an hour or so and go and do your own thing, okay?